We just released the Minnesota Timber Ranch Deluxe, which will certainly be one of the most popular home tours that we have on our channel. This home was absolutely stunning. It took place in the Brainerd Lakes area in northern Minnesota. John, you were intimately involved with that project, being the home consultant on it. Will you give us a general overview of the clients and how the design process looked on this stunning home?
The customer obviously had clearly watched your Building My Dream Home series. Really fell in love with that floor plan and that timber style that you had. Just wanted to take it to the next level, if you will. Make a home a little bit bigger, obviously for the extended family to come visit. So we took a lot of inspiration from your floor plan and then just kind of ran with it with the customer. One of the big things you see is moving that staircase out of the center of the home, flipping the floor plan, adding the bonus room above the garage, that Four Seasons room down below. So really just took that timber style and your floor plan and then really incorporated a lot of different designs they saw from other videos that we did. I'm sure as we go through the house, we'll all touch on it, but the bar in the lower level just really drew a lot of inspiration from our video series.
Yeah, I think the number one request I get on the Timber Ranch plan is moving those stairs, like you mentioned. I mean, they moved it to the side, which allowed them, access then to that loft in the bedroom. But then it just changes that whole orientation of that space, that kitchen, dining room, great room. That whole back wall of the home now is kitchen. And then your dining room, obviously, and then your great room. So it just lends itself to a much, I think, no offense, Zach, to your design, yeah. But it's a great design, but it just kind of opens up that space. And I've designed a couple other homes where they've moved that stairs in some other places, but I think where this home has it is pretty darn good.
And how amazing is it with that stone to timber contrast on that wall?
It looks sweet. It does. Mm-hmm.
With moving that stair and being able to change the orientation of that kitchen island, I think that just makes it such an inviting space. Because a lot of people, they like to gather at the island. When my wife was watching that, she said that it would be really nice if we ever did that on a future redesign of the house.
Sure.
So she really liked that feature.
Yeah, and speaking of the kitchen, that butler's pantry that has the 2 entries, obviously that awesome automatic opening pantry door, is a great idea. But then they have that fridge and freezer in that butler pantry. So now it takes that extra appliance that would have been in the kitchen. We don't have to design around like another large appliance in the kitchen. And it eliminates that need for like a freezer out in the garage or a freezer in the basement. Everything is right there, right next to the kitchen, easily accessible. You don't forget about things in that freezer that's maybe in a different area of the home. So I really love that pantry area right adjacent to the kitchen. Makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, it certainly created a good workflow, I think. Mm-hmm. And then the symmetry, the balance you got from that built-in pantry to the fridge to the windows with the cooktop, the stove right in the middle. I thought that really balanced the room out really nicely.
Agreed.
And that range hood, that is such a dramatic accent piece in the kitchen. I just think it's perfect. Mm-hmm. I also really like that we continued with those gable windows above the kitchen island. Because when you've got such tall ceilings in that space, what else are you going to do up on the upper portion of those walls? Mm-hmm. It just looks so good. The Pella windows in that house, they were absolutely stunning.
Yeah, I thought it just gave it a really great open flow, stacking that great room, dining room, kitchen. The timber truss is going all the way through. This wasn't a structural timber frame home. Mm-hmm. It's a timber style with our ultra custom timber, but it almost gave it that timber frame structural feel, just the way it stacked out right through that center section, I thought.
Definitely.
Well, with that refrigerator, it has those cabinet appliance panels. Now, you can actually do that in dishwashers as well. That's something a lot of people don't quite realize on these homes is if you don't want all those stainless steel appliances, you certainly don't have to have them as visible. Certainly much more of a designer aesthetic. I also really like that they did inset cabinetry in there.
Yeah.
To me, it always shows a higher level of craftsmanship. You're not going to find that at your ordinary box stores. It's going to be your ultra custom cabinet companies or your handcrafted local cabinet maker that makes something like that.
That cabinetry was pretty awesome. And there was a lot of neat cabinetry that hit a lot of the appliances as well, like the mixer cabinetry, cabinet that where you're able to pull that mixer out. Just a lot of neat features within those cabinets along with the inset. And it's just something that that we do here on a daily basis at Golden Eagle. I mean, those things are pretty common for us, and most people have never even seen those yet.
Another great opportunity is, let's say someone wanted to save a little cost and they didn't need to have that pocket door in there with the electronic feature. I think it'd be great to just leave that as an open pantry walkthrough. It's just an extra space. We put in some wall cabinets in there. That way everything gets hidden behind the wall cabinets.
Sure.
And then it allows your eye to flow through into the space.
Okay.
They already had so much great lighting in there. When you turn on the lights in the kitchen, the lights in that pantry could come on as well. Just adds more depth and dimension. They could overlook into the pantry.
But how cool was that automatic door opener, though?
Oh, it was awesome.
I've already had another customer request that on their pantry, too. So
Yeah, definitely.
very convenient.
And speaking of cool features, the TV that turns into a picture, I would have never guessed that was a TV. That was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
There was a YouTuber out there, Timothy P. Livingston, and he had done a full-length tour of the home. Now, Timothy's approach is, I don't want you to tell me all the bells and whistles. I want to be surprised. I want to figure it out just as the viewer would as I walk through. So I said, okay, well, let me at least tell you about a few things. I didn't tell him everything, though. And he missed the TV.
Is that right? Yeah.
I told you, Timothy, like, that's why, like, on these homes, on Golden Eagle homes, we got to tell you about all this stuff. There's going to be stuff you miss. On an ordinary home, I'm sure we're going to catch it all. But on a Golden Eagle home, there are things just around every corner and things that are so intentionally designed, like that TV. Now, here's something a lot of people probably wouldn't realize. You need to have a furniture, like a console table right below it, because the brains of the TV are going to be stored within that furniture piece.
Okay.
That's how the TV is so thin. And then the frames around the TV, those are all interchangeable. So there are different style options, different sizes of TVs, of course. But that's what was so great about it is in ordinary daytime settings, you had no idea it was a TV.
Right, no doubt. Yep.
Now, at night, if all the lights are off, yeah, you'll probably be able to tell because you can see the slight backlit feature of the TV that displays the image. And then you'd probably start to get suspicious. Why is that painting backlit like that?
Yeah, I remember when we were designing the house with the customer, they even said, they're like, we don't watch a ton of TV, and if we're going to watch something, we'll probably go down to like the family room area in the lower level. But to have something like that where if you're cooking and you do just want like the news on or something on, it's a great way the ability to watch TV, but not actually have this big TV in your great room if you're not really that big of TV watchers up there anyway, and you want that for more entertaining space, so it's great dual purpose.
I think it'd be great if you're cooking in the kitchen, you're all alone, just be able to throw something on the TV and have it just off to the side.
No doubt.
That'd be wonderful. A lot of people do consider doing something like that above their fireplace as well, because there seems to be this constant debate. Do we put a TV above the fireplace? Do we not? It's so difficult on our homes. You want windows everywhere. You always want to see the view. A lot of times people do put the TV above, but to be able to make it look like it's a painting with the frame TV from Samsung, now you got the best of both worlds.
Right. One of the other things that I noticed about this home was, man, they used every square foot of this home. They utilized everything, from the loft space above that second bedroom, the space above the garage, multi-purpose rooms. So some of those bedrooms were crafts room, workout room. So I like the multi-purpose use rooms. That Four Seasons room down in the lower level, if we want to move to that right away, that's probably my favorite room in that house. With that nano wall door on it, being able to open that room to the exterior is just unbelievable. The outdoor living space that you just created with that Four Seasons room, the fireplace in there, the TV. I could see myself spending most days and most evenings down there.
I think what's great about this home too is it really displays how we design homes based on the customers and their needs. You could clearly tell that was kind of a room he designed that was very important to him. The crafts room was very important to her. So I think it really shows like, hey, when you work with Golden Eagle, you're ultimately designing this home to fit exactly your lifestyle and your needs.
It's nice that room is completely isolated from the rest of the house.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, you can open that nano wall door and not have the outdoors into the rest of the home. You don't have to worry, maybe bugs or animals getting into the rest of the home. It's completely sealed from the rest of the home. So it just kind of creates another covered porch, another living area. But like I said, it has a cool TV, fireplace. I mean, it had everything.
Yeah, it definitely does. And then above it is concrete, which is, those concrete polyaspartic polyurea. And so that is all heated up there. The snow melts away above. So you actually have outdoor living space above this 3 seasons room.
Yeah, and then by putting the fireplace below, he was able to get a fireplace up on that patio too. So
that looks so great.
He was big on outdoor entertaining, with that lake and just having friends and family over. So any area of opportunity to create a hangout spot or just a place to enjoy the outdoors, he was big on. So I think he did a great job with this design.
Yeah, absolutely. And the cable railing too, it just hides away. On the video we bring focus to it, but when you're not looking for it, you don't even notice that it's there.
Right.
It's so wonderful. I like that concrete mantle. I think that makes a lot of sense on a fireplace chase like that, where it's exposed all the time, 0 coverage. Why not do a mantle like that?
Right.
I didn't know it was concrete. I mean, I saw the pictures and videos. I'm like, yeah, I wonder how that's going to work. And then you mentioned it's a concrete mantle. I'm like, oh, that's so perfect.
And it looks like an old railroad tie
It
too.
does.
And it ties into that continuous railroad theme that we have throughout the house.
Yep.
All right, while we're talking about gathering spaces outside, there's one that I think would surprise a lot of people on this tour, was when we made it to the boathouse. We call it a boathouse. It looked like a bar right by the lakeside. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. That was cool.
It's neat how they tied in the same stone as well. So it really connected into the house.
Yeah, that looked awesome. Yep.
Yeah. And in the secondary garage, I mean, we can design these auxiliary buildings, ADUs, whatever you want to call them, and make it cohesive, make it, a compound that looks like it was obviously built all at the same time. It's cohesive. It looks great together. So we're not just limited to the design of the homes.
With these dramatic roof pitches that oftentimes work really well with our home designs, with the big, tall feature walls and the timber trusses, we're also able to utilize a lot more of the space in those roof systems. So they had room and attic trusses above their main garage and then above this auxiliary garage as well. So much extra storage. And the way they doubled up the storage in the auxiliary garage by having that massive lift in there. Yeah. Do you see the boat trailer up on the top of the lift? I thought that is brilliant.
Yeah.
That's great. Now it's not sitting outside getting weathered, which is usually what would probably happen in a scenario like that. What a cool looking garage too with the side-by-side of the sports car.
I mean, some of the other cool features on the exterior, some little touches that you can do that I think make a big impact on the outside is a double fascia. It just adds an extra shadow line on those gable ends. And then doing those step fascias as well, or those step gable ends, those craftsman style raked ends, where that top of that ridge just kind of sticks out an extra foot or two. Again, just kind of gives it another corner, another shadow line. Doesn't add a ton of expense, but makes it super interesting on the outside. Gives it a ton of curb appeal.
Yeah, and that's just probably an extra tall fascia in general, isn't it? Is that an 8-inch fascia with it then also being stepped?
Right, an 8 or 10-inch fascia, and then you go to like a 4-inch freeze or shadow board is what we'll call it. Yeah. Yep, very easily done.
Yeah, I thought for me that seemed like a missed opportunity on my own home.
Yeah.
When I saw theirs, I thought, oh shoot, should have done that. Now there are things that they did where their budget supported going the extra step. Like they made the bedroom wings even bigger on that house. Okay. John, that was such a good design decision. Adding more breathing room because they wanted to have king size beds in there.
Yep.
And it certainly felt great. Another thing that they had done was they made the entire finished lower level feel like a continuation of the upstairs. You got the theater, the big bar, that wine cellar. So I suppose we don't want to jump through all this too quickly, but let's spend a moment on the bar because I think a lot of people would be curious on what inspired that design. Will you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, he watched a lot of videos. Him and his wife came to us with a bunch of inspiration, either stuff they gathered over the years or just from watching all of our videos. And they really took a lot of ideas from different things. So the Timberlake home is where they drew inspiration out of that bar area. They wanted to feel something similar to that style, but then still kind of make it their own, vibe. So that's where we pulled a lot of that design aspect out of. And even into the wine cellar, not to jump ahead, but they had seen the South Carolina floor plan and really liked how that stone wine cellar looked and wanted to try to incorporate some sort of that feel too. So this whole house was really a lot of just different ideas that they'd seen and want to incorporate specific ideas and then make it their own feel.
Mm-hmm. That wine cellar was temperature controlled as well. Yeah, it's pretty neat. Now back to the bar. I noticed a lot of people look at that roof structure over the island area, and they can certainly see the similarity. You may not notice that the back of the bar, the way all that cabinetry is done, pulls in similar inspiration. Well, that's pretty wonderful. I also really like the way that appliance, that cabinet door opened up. When that opens up in the video and you see all those miscellaneous tabletop appliances that are in there, it makes so much sense to have them all hidden away. And then it's also easy to access. It's not below you in a cabinet. It's still at counter height. How about that craft room?
Oh, yeah.
Incredibly organized.
That's the first thing that came to mind, too, is superior organization right there. That's my style. Yep. Everything labeled nicely. Yep.
Absolutely.
Justin could picture all those fishing lures in there.
It seems to be a symptom of our clients is that if they're going to do something, they're going to do it well. And you see it throughout their life. Whatever their interests are, they take it to 100. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was really a neat reflection of her interest. Yeah. She also did all the quilts that you saw in the bedrooms as well.
Okay.
So that's pretty neat.
Makes sense. Yeah.
A lot of people may ask about that craft room and what's happening in the craft room, because there's just such an extensive supply. She does a lot of greeting cards, wedding invites for her kids, all that kind of stuff.
Oh wow, nice.
It's pretty wonderful.
Yeah.
She was a big fan of watching movies too, so that's where the idea of the theater room kind of came into play. Mm-hmm. But they didn't want to necessarily create just a theater room. They wanted kind of still a dual purpose open space for if you're down watching, a game, but still want to be at the bar. So that's where the idea of kind of creating that theater off to the side, but still just doing the open railing so that big screen could be a dual purpose area, mm-hmm. but then still have a little bit of a theater setting.
They had asked each in the family what their favorite movie was that they wanted represented on the wall, which is why you see the different posters on there. Sure. But that's a great way to decorate a theater.
Yeah,
right.
The tiered seating is really wonderful. Of course, it's all electronically controlled, so you can get to the perfect comfortable position. I think that's pretty great. Mm. Those ceilings, they do a good job at supporting the extra timbers that we have down there. Everything still feels tall. I think all the natural light that we nearly have a full window wall in that game room area facing the lakeside. Mm-hmm. When you have a lot of light like that and everything is finished to this caliber, it's hard to even have a conversation about calling this a basement.
Right.
Yeah, this is better than the main floor of most people's homes. Mm-hmm. It's better than most great rooms out there. So I think it's wonderful how that space gets finished off, and it certainly is catered to their interests and how they're going to use it.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, another area where they incorporated some ideas from not just the videos, but from our design center showroom. When they came here for selections, they fell in love with that timber frame shelf unit that we have right there by the timber shower. And they were both like, oh, we have to incorporate this design somewhere in our master bathroom. I thought it turned out really good. They kind of put it right there by the tub, and then how awesome did that bathroom turn out? Oh,
it's great. You'd have no idea, but there's actually plenty of accessibility figured into this bathroom. There's a lot of floor space, so it's easy. If anyone were ever in a wheelchair someday, they could easily turn around. You even had the accessibility tub off to the side, but you're not distracted by it. You're more distracted by the grand walk-in shower. That was just a beautiful walk-in shower with the steam function in there too. Mm-hmm. And then all the natural light that we're getting from the obscure glass between the shower and that tub. Just thought it was a wonderful space.
And then flows right out into the mudroom, so you're close to your laundry, being that's the master area side.
Yeah, that's so convenient to have access to the laundry. I also think that this is the perfect application for 2 vanity sinks. They had well over 7 feet of vanity length there, probably a bit more than that even. So there's still a lot of countertop space remaining even after you put both of those sinks in there. And then even adding the extra depth to the cabinets, staggering those depths from 21 to 24 inches, adding more interest to that countertop. And what a beautiful countertop that was. You got that massive mirror on that wall reflecting the light fixtures above it. Yeah, it was just stunning. When you just imagine they get up in the morning, they've got that morning sun pouring in to that bathroom, and it's just like, how else would you want to start the day? Exactly. Then they start to head off to the hot tub just outside their master suite. It's just exactly how they designed it. They use it with intent. So they wanted that hot tub. They use it all the time. They want to be able to easily get back into the bathroom then. And it's just a perfect setting. Now they also have the loft space above the master suite with access up there. Wasn't that just idyllic with all the books up there?
Yeah. A lot of people that watch the video, they're like, oh, I really love, when you built your home, I love the idea of those lofts, but I don't know if I'd ever really use it. These clients instantly were like, we want the lofts, and we've got a lot of books. We're big readers. That'll just be a great place to not only to store them, but also display them and be able to just, if you want that little quiet reading nook, go up there and read.
Yeah. It's a great use of the space, right? We have a lot of these, like you mentioned earlier, tall vaulted ceilings, a lot of volume in these homes. So that's a great use of space. I mean, in our design team, it can see that. We're used to designing this type of home. So it's not going to be an afterthought like during the construction period. We're going to think through it, make sure you have access to it, make sure you have proper space and headroom for it. So again, just stuff that we do here on a daily basis.
What I like about being up in those lofts is you get a close-up view of the craftsmanship of all these timbers coming together. Oftentimes those timbers are an extra 15 feet away from you. But when you're up in the loft, you can see that big ridge beam coming through. And then, all the timbers meeting up to it. In my house with those lofts, they get the most use when my nieces and nephew come over. They love going up there, building forts. They just think that is the coolest thing.
That's cool.
Well, this is an incredible home. And it was originally inspired by our Building My Dream Home video series, where I had built my home. And these homeowners had visited my home. They toured it. They worked with Golden Eagle to do a lot of customization. Their budget supported some incredible decisions. And that's why I think it's perfect that this home is called the Minnesota Timber Ranch Deluxe, because it certainly is deluxe. Let's say someone's watching this video and they watch that in-depth home tour that we just released. How do they go about designing a home for themselves with Golden Eagle?
Yeah, it's simple as picking up the phone and giving us a call. We're going to walk you through that process of the custom home building design. We've been doing this for 50 plus years, designed over 6,000 homes in North America. So it's certainly not going to be the first time designing this home, and we'll help you build your dream home.